Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, Malo on football, Malo on football. Happy Women's Day, man, if I'm to say so. To all the wonderful women out there keeping their household strong, looking after the families, man. So yeah, man, big shout out to all the women in the world. So here we go. What do I want to talk about today? Patterns, I think for me, styles, systems, patterns of play for me is what wins championships. I look at all the successful teams all over Europe, in Africa, wherever it is, World Cups, patterns. It's all about patterns of how a team plays, a flow, a rhythm, a consistency. That's why teams drill in that even if we change personnel, the way we play, the style of football that a team plays continues to dominate regardless of who comes in. And that's why you see top managers, they sign players who can continue with the system, the philosophy, the pattern, the the culture, the way the team plays. And I feel a lot of teams are not successful because of just that one thing. They don't have an identity or style of play, and it's not always the play out from the back, pep, tiki taka that works for them. We saw Liverpool when they won the league and the Champions League. They had their own aggression, closing down from the front, relentless, non-stop attack. That's what worked for them. But it's their philosophy. Every player they signed was doing the same thing, chasing down. But now a lot of teams are not successful who maybe should be successful or have built good brands, but have still, I look at Chelsea last season for an example. Absolutely brilliant players. If you look at the whole 22, 23 of them last season. But what were they doing wrong? They were just signing individual players, but there wasn't an ingrained, instilled system style of play. So they bought Mudryk, for an example. Came into the team. Arsenal wanted him. Top talent in Europe, but there wasn't a way, a philosophy of how Chelsea played. They signed Koulibaly and all these players, but there was no system. There wasn't anything. They were just trying to kick a ball around, trying to score, but there's no rhythm, there's no pattern. No one could identify what the style of play was. I look at Kaizer Chiefs for the last 7 seasons, and it's the same thing. I don't know where the Kaizer Chiefs always had an identity, style of play, pattern. You wouldn't be able to maybe name every single player, but you knew how they were going to play regardless of who they would sign. But they have absolutely lost that. I would even go to the extent of saying Orlando Pirates have lost that as well, although for them maybe not to the extent of Kaizer Chiefs. And that's for me why Kaizer Chiefs are not winning. It's not necessarily, yes, obviously Mamelodi Sundowns have the better players, bigger investment, but Kaizer Chiefs don't have a system style of play that they are continuously trying to drill into the players. They're signing players and they're just seeing how it goes. And if you look at the successful teams, Mamelodi Sundowns, Manchester City, in Europe, obviously you look at your Barcelona's, Real Madrid, Bayern, there is a system, there's a style, there's a, everyone uses the word philosophy and maybe loosely, but ultimately that's what it is. That's what will drive the success of a team, is if you stick to your principles. Well, first of all, have principles, identify what those principles are. The manager, the coach, having his way and style of play and persisting on it. We saw with Arteta. Didn't start out too well in the beginning, even though he won a Community Shield and he won an FA Cup in his first season. Then he finished 8th. But why did Edu not fire him? Why was Arteta not fired when he was not doing well? Because why? They saw the philosophy and the system is starting to tick. Things are starting to happen. And I feel that a lot of teams rush to get rid of managers where themselves as the club owners, sporting directors, haven't instilled that into the team. So yeah, man. For me, that is something that ultimately you cannot build success without that. From a football point of view, in other sporting codes, I'm sure it's the same. You look at the Springboks. You can have different managers, different players come in, but they've got that thing. They've got that. This is how we play. We dominate possession. We this, we that. But yeah, really disappointing, I must say. When you look at, today particularly, I just wanted to mention Kaizer Chiefs because for me, I would say in terms of a brand in African football, they definitely are amongst the top brands in African football as a brand. But from a football point of view, I think they are definitely getting things wrong because I don't know what happened from the last time they won a trophy to now. And I think that's something management needs to address and understand and get to the bottom of, because without that, you can sign individual players, but without that philosophy, getting back to the culture of how they play and how they're structured and how they want to play football, I don't think anything is going to change, man. Mamelodi Sundowns continue to do the same things, drilling, keeping to their playing patterns, combinations, and look at the results, man. Look at the results. So yeah, man, that's my view on Kaizer Chiefs and philosophy and styles of play and patterns with regards to football. Let me know what you think, man. Is your team playing with patterns, with styles, with a rhythm, or are they just signing players, man? Malo on football. We out.